saw the same headline. Spain believed Lamine Yamal could be ready for the World Cup opener. But the real story does not begin there. It begins in the shadow of a torn left hamstring on April 22nd, when Barcelona's 18-year-old wonderkid limped out of the season and was ruled out for the rest of the league campaign. Since then, the whispers have never really stopped. First came the injury, then came the recovery, then came the question nobody in Spanish football wants to answer too loudly. Are they protecting the boy or pushing him toward the brightest stage in the game before his body is fully ready? The official story sounds calm, almost comforting. Spain's coach, Luis de la Fuente, says Yamal could be fit for June 15th, when Spain opened Group H against Cape Verde in Atlanta. He says there is no need to panic. He says the plan is careful. He has already ruled Yamal out of the warm-up against Iraq, and he has even left the door open for a very limited return, maybe a few minutes, maybe just training, depending on how the recovery looks. On paper, that sounds responsible. In a football investigation, though, calm statements are often where the first cracks appear. Because if you look closer, this did not start with one injury. It started with a pattern. Yamal has dealt with groin issues multiple times this season, and by October 2025, the problem had already returned after he played a full 90 minutes against Paris Saint-Germain. Barcelona said the groin issue flared again after that match, with the recovery estimated at 2 to 3 weeks. Before that, he had already missed matches, already become a point of tension between club and country, and already forced Barcelona and Spain into a public argument about who should have protected him better. Once that kind of conflict begins, every new setback stops looking like bad luck and starts looking like evidence, and the evidence kept stacking up. In November 2025, Yamal was released from Spain's squad after medical treatment for the groin problem, and the Spanish Federation said the procedure happened without prior notification to its medical staff. That alone would have been enough to turn the story into a dispute. But then the argument became personal. Barcelona boss Hansi Flick criticized Spain's handling of the player. De La Fuente pushed back. The message was simple on the surface, but loaded underneath. This was no longer just a medical case, it was a power struggle over one of the most valuable teenagers in world football. By late May, the language changed again. De La Fuente named his World Cup squad and made it clear that Spain, not the clubs, would decide the future. He said the national team comes first. He said the squad was built on sporting reasons. He said if there was a risk, Spain would weigh it in a World Cup context. And then he added the line that tells you everything about how much pressure is sitting on this case. If they have to wait a little longer, they will wait. That sounds cautious, but it also sounds like a manager staring at a player too important to lose and too dangerous to rush. That is where the investigation gets uncomfortable. Spain are not treating Yamal like a normal squad member. They are treating him like a strategic asset. Reuters reported that Spain are heading into the tournament as one of the favorites, with a squad built around cohesion and depth. But Yamal remains the player most tied to their attacking threat. He is the teenager who exploded at Euro 2024, the scorer of that record-setting goal against France, the creator who led Spain in assists, key passes, and chances created. He also finished runner-up in the 2025 Ballon d'Or, the youngest player ever to do so. When a team depends on a player like that, caution and desperation can start to look exactly the same. And then there is the timing, which always matters in these cases. Yamal's injury came at the end of a season in which he still produced 16 goals and 11 assists for Barcelona, despite the repeated fitness problems. That means Spain are not dealing with a player who has faded quietly into the background. They are dealing with a star who keeps returning to the pitch, keeps being trusted, and keeps pulling attention back to himself. Even now, the latest reporting says he could be fit for June 15th, but not necessarily fully ready, and not necessarily safe from re-injury if Spain push too hard too soon. The public hears could play, the medical. The reality hears something far more fragile. The criticism writes itself from there. Barcelona people will ask why a teenager with recurring groin problems was ever expected to carry this load. Spain people will answer that the World Cup is not a friendly laboratory and that elite players are meant to recover for elite moments. Supporters of De La Fuente will say he is handling the situation intelligently, that he skipped the Iraq friendly for a reason, and that even the coach has insisted the first match is not the only match that matters. But critics will hear something else in that logic. They will hear a federation willing to gamble with a teenager's body because the reward is a World Cup run, and the cost of being cautious might be invisible until it is too late. That is the central contradiction in this case. Spain insists they are not rushing him, yet they also admit they may keep him in reserve, then nudge him into the tournament when the moment feels right. They are not speaking like a team unsure whether he should be there. They are speaking like a team already imagining his return. In other words, the question is no longer whether Spain want Yamal at the World Cup. They obviously do. The real question is whether the pressure of the tournament, the expectations of a nation, and the hunger to start strong are quietly shaping the recovery timeline more than anyone is willing to say out loud. That is not a claim of wrongdoing. It is the pattern the case keeps pointing toward.
What a goal! Unbelievable finish! Definición increíble! Never miss a word. Global Caption turns live commentary into real-time captions and translations in over 50 languages.
And perhaps that is why this story feels bigger than one player. Spain open against Cape Verde, then Saudi Arabia, then Uruguay. They are not short of ambition. They are not short of talent. Reuters describes them as a team to beat, a side built on structure rather than one-man dependence. But Yamal is not just another piece of the system. He is the spark that turns structure into threat. If he is fully fit, Spain gain a weapon. If he is not, they risk asking an 18-year-old body to carry the emotional weight of a football nation before it is ready. That is how tournaments become tests of judgment, not just skill. So is Spain risking Lamine Yamal before the World Cup? The honest answer is more disturbing than a simple yes or no. They may believe they are protecting him. They may believe they are being patient. But every decision in this story has a shadow attached to it. The recurring groin issue, the hamstring tear, the club-country tension, the full match that came too soon, the medical treatment that sparked another dispute, and the growing sense that this teenager has become too important to sit still for long. Maybe it is caution. Maybe it is pressure. Maybe it is both. In football, the truth is rarely what the first statement says. The truth was always there, hidden in plain sight. The case remains open. Imagine watching content from anywhere in the world and instantly understanding every word. With Global Caption, you get real-time captions and translations across videos, live streams, and more. No language barriers, just pure connection. The first 1,000 users get 24 hours free. Download now and experience content without limits.